Hello and welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We are playing Delta Green tonight. We are continuing our Impossible Landscapes campaign. We are probably midway through part 3 of a 4-part campaign. Left off on a bit of a cliffhanger last week. I had a little cliffhanger action. We'll dive into that summary in a moment, and then we'll start up. Before we do so, a couple quick plugs for some other things that we've been doing. We've got our Friday game that's going to be Impossible Landscapes until we're done. Maybe take a break here or there, but for the most part, Possible Landscapes straight through. Saturdays we're doing Blades in the Dark. Monday we alternate between Ultraviolet Grasslands and Alien. This coming Monday, which should be the 11th, we are doing Ultraviolet Grasslands. So you can come check Melissa and I out then. Melissa and I are also doing a special run on Call of Cthulhu over on the Sirenscape channel. So twitch.tv/Sirenscape. And you can catch us as players, where our friend Matt from Garblight Games is running us and a few others through a original Call of Cthulhu adventure for October. And then Wednesdays, I'm over on DOK, Winners of Cobalt, our good friends. And Thursday, if you like Delta Green, I just started up a new Delta Green adventure on Garblight Games. And things got weird last night. Like, yeah. It got... Yeah, a lot of fun. I mean, so we're having a lot of fun. Different kind of game than this one. The Impossible Landscapes is a little different, but that's one of the reasons why I picked the adventure we picked that we're playing. So I wanted to be a little different. So we're playing Visit. So if you're familiar with Delta Green and you know the various operations and missions that are out there, scenarios that are published, we're playing Visit, and we're having some interesting choices just off the bat. So with all that out of the way. Yes, we definitely need everyone stay hydrated. It's good for you. You don't want to not stay hydrated. Posture check already, and we have to stay hydrated. We gotta put a stay hydrated thing on there.
Let me write.
Actually, take a note. We gotta do more stuff with growths. We don't do really anything with our channel points. We gotta do more stuff with that. Take it up. Okay. So you know what? We're gonna shake things up. We're gonna go out of order tonight. Do a little because Ashley's taking a note for me, and so we're gonna start. Derek, who are you? Who are you playing?
Yes, so I am Agent Album, a retired astrophysicist, is the most conspiratorial person in the group, kind of disconnected from reality by nature, yet somehow has the most sanity out of the group. So turns out being a conspiracy theorist is actually good for you. So everyone in chat should just start believing in wacky types of theories, and you'll make it a lot longer.
Okay. And you also got like... I love the truck scene with you and Vessel when like Vessel sees like the image of like the North Korean or like I think the book says like it's either like a North Korean or a Chinese like uniform from like the 50s, and like you're like, yeah, the North Koreans are involved.
I just dove right into it. Yeah,
you just like, absolutely, I believe this. Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic. Oh man. Let's see what else we got. Who's next? Speaking of Vessel, why don't you go next? Who are you?
Yeah, I'm playing Vessel. He's supposed to be the like soldier built type, very strong-willed, strong physically. But he has got beaten in a wrestling match with an old lady, so there's that.
Never forget the shed moment.
So,
oh my gosh, the shed.
There was the shed moment in part 2, right, where you struggled with an old lady, and then in part 1. You guys struggled with like a little independent poet lady, right? Like a tile woman, and nearly TPK'd the whole party, just like stabbing you and stuff. Remember that? I think the one who got the worst of it was Fawn, but I think at least 2 or 3 of you there. Oh, we got the 616 bits.
She had to have been the barbarian class. She was too angry to die.
She was a very angry poet. She's dead now.
Were you wearing like your fuck poets shirt or something that day?
I love that shirt. Most people don't get that shirt, which is great because like it's a literary journal I love. It's called Barrel House. It's one of my favorite lit journals. And when I was at a conference, a writing conference years ago, they were selling them, and I'm like, that's just hilarious. So I bought it, and so it says "fucking poets, man." It's like such a great shirt. I love that shirt. Okay, Ashley, you're talking. Who are you?
I am playing Chelsea. She's supposed to be like our really smart one, but she's me, so she ended up just being kind of weird, but in the ghost way. She was in her old days used to be on like a ghost hunting team. Like that was um one of my relationships, but they were one of my first ones removed. I only have my little sister remaining, really. And then like some flavor ones that I added, but they're not official yet. I haven't made them official. But yeah, it's a challenge to myself because there's so many times where I'm like, Jeff, this is not an in character thing. Can I do this?
Mm-hmm,
Is this
mm-hmm.
allowed? So yeah. So
Okay.
I love it. She's fun.
And because of your past career, you never had to ask the question, who you going to call, right? You just knew.
No, I'm who you call. I don't have to call
Yeah.
anyone.
Yeah, I don't know if there's like, I was talking about this with Melissa the other day. I don't know if there's just like friendly, kind ghosts. Like there's ghosts in Delta Green. Kind of. It's not like the, the sort of like the way we think, like the trope of like apparitional ghosts. But like, yeah, the concept of a ghost, like in general purposes, sure, there's definitely ghost story type scenarios out there that could be played with. But it's always like awful and terrible, and like someone's, just got divorced because of it, and then 3 people grow extra arms or something. Like it's kind of how it's gonna work. So and then finally, let's head over to Melissa. Melissa, who are you?
I am Fawn. So I am the historian and archaeologist of the group, work for the National Park Service. And I'm running incredibly low on sand at the moment. And last episode, I completely ran out of willpower. So yeah, that was that. I'm currently obsessed with radios and trying to find another radio that will let me talk to my supposedly deceased sister, Ariana.
I'm surprised you didn't reach out to me for my previous hobby of talking to dead people. You
should also watch out for video, because video does kill the radio star.
Oh my god. All right.
Like,
okay. Enough, everybody.
Okay.
Enough. Oh, geez. Okay, I'm just looking at some stats I have here. I track certain stats of yours. Fawn's at 12 sand. Vessel's at 18. Chelsea, album. Doing all right. Chelsea, 28. Album, I think you're 37. Man. I don't know how you've been holding it. It's because you believe.
I'm telling you, yeah, exactly. When you're a conspiracy theorist, nothing can surprise you anymore.
That's fair. That's definitely fair. Okay. Well, let's dive in. We've already got a 616 bits, which is just going to be something awful and creepy. So I have another one of those to play. I already have one of them that's in play that might manifest tonight, but I'm going to put another one into play now, too. I have an idea. And then we've got an extra roll, I think. Reroll. Yeah, definitely Tool to Switch. We'll, it sounds cool to me. Yeah, I'll reach out to Chuck. I don't see him enough during the week, so we're not.
I don't know when you would ever connect.
I don't know when I would ever talk to Chuck. Don't see him 3 or 4 times every week. But yeah, we'll figure something out.
Tomorrow
For sure.
in Forbidden Lands at 1 Central.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So let's dive into the summary. Let's get going. I'm not gonna do the old stuff. You all met in '95. You did a job with Abigail Wright. She went missing. You blew up a building. Never found her. Got a bunch of weird stuff about a yellow sign. All that kind of stuff. I only mentioned it now because it's going to be relevant in a second. I mean, all of it's relevant, but, Anyway. 2015, you all reunited. You were brought to Boston by what apparently seems to be a impossible machine that printed up various birthday parties, invitations for you all. You came here under the guise of... or under the pretense that you were looking for 4 escaped hospital patients that actually were Delta Green agents, led by, and like your handler was Agent Exeter, who turned out to not, be who he says he is. And in doing so, you investigated him. You investigated some of the personnel that were involved in that hospital, and then eventually you got trapped within the Dorchester house. Or maybe you've always been in the Dorchester house. Who knows? One of those things might be true, or neither of them might be true, or both might be true. And you found your way out after agreeing to do certain tasks for a Mr. Wild. He put you in contact with Timothy Bale on the inside, who who found a way out. You all drank some patsu, nearly got killed by a constantly growing and giant creepy clown. You found yourselves back in Boston, having only missed like a day. Only been gone for like 12, 24 hours or so. And as the last few days have progressed, apparently you all are the escaped mental patients, as more and more local news stories are popping up about you all. The police are looking for you. Apparently you all violently assaulted various people at the Dorchester house. And some of you are seeing things too. Vessel saw a man's head burning and laughing. A few of you have seen folks with gas masks just wandering about, or like just on the edge of vision. Some of you have seen puppet strings. Others have seen weird images and graffiti and things like that. And the number 616 popping up again for album for some reason. And that all led you to the Boxer Hotel again, where you all had a previous encounter. And when you arrived, things looked a little different. Chelsea and Fawn were here first, and they found that the room was completely filled with boxes, dozens of boxes that all seemed to contain the items that were found in Abigail Wright's apartment in 1995. Now, I want to clarify something because I don't want this to be confusing. They weren't in evidence bags. These were all items, and it seems as though they hadn't yet been epoxied and glued and stuff to the walls. And that includes some evidence that you weren't able to collect previously. And so you have a few bits of evidence we might cover again later. Now, this didn't go well with Fawn. Fawn kind of broke down. Chelsea saw this strange contraption that was on one of the beds, and she literally tracked her whole experience over the past 20 years, including a time in which she apparently shot herself. But by that, I mean another version of her popped out of a wall or a door and shot her. And also saw as all four of the people that that are in our group were kind of getting herded or following like this tall kingly figure that was seeming to create the world wherever he went. And eventually you all found your way into the Hotel Broadalbin. Now, this also didn't sit too well with Chelsea either, who also kind of snapped a bit. And in the morning, Vessel and Album went looking for Chelsea and Fawn. Found them in the Boxer Hotel. Don't forget that there are 2 agents of some non-police group that's out and surveilling the Boxer Hotel, and all 4 of you managed, at least as far as you know, to get past them. But they certainly weren't cops. You're not exactly sure who they are, but they're certainly watching the hotel. And inside the hotel, as you walked in, static was blaring. Fawn and Chelsea saw what looked like a old, like in the 1950s, NBC Philco playhouse for a play called The Yellow Phantom. And then as everybody reunited, Vessel went to open the curtains. Even though the last time you were here, this place didn't have a window. You opened the curtains to try to get some light and some fresh air into the room to help maybe get Fawn to life. And that's where we ended, because there was something on the other side of the curtains. So let's dive in and let's talk about what is behind the curtains. Let me get a little music up so I can creep Ashley out, because that's what I live for.
Alternatively, we have Hotel California lyrics.
Yeah, that works
recommended in
too.
Chat by Derek.
I mean, you can leave, but then you always come back. Just when you thought you were out, they pull you back in. All right. So, Fawn, you're laying in the ground, pillow over your head. You're sleeping. You're finally out, but you're like out. You're not like, I am just casually going to sleep. You're out. Chelsea, you're awake, but having just recovered effectively from your own bit of insanity. Album, Vessel, you guys are doing all right, but Vessel is a little agitated and paranoid right now after what he saw on the road here. And as you draw back the curtains of this almost hoarder-like room, because of how many boxes and little items and stuff are in here, you notice that on the wall behind the curtains, which your last time was here was just drywall. You notice that something else is here, Vessel, as you watch what can be described as a quicksilver-like substance, mercury-like, water-like, a puddle that's pooling in the center of the wall behind where the curtain is. And you can see that it's been pooling possibly for some time, as there's these little rivulets and such that are extending now down to the baseboards in here. And you're seeing that it's creating what looks like the form or the shape of a window that would be perfectly sized for the space behind the curtain. And this is what you see, Vessel. Everybody else is busy doing other things. What do you do?
I'll see if I can interact with it. Can I touch it?
Yeah, you touch it at first and you see it ripples a bit.
I swear to God, if it's liquid near about to swim through it.
Do you alert Album and Chelsea at all to this?
Not yet.
Okay. And you can see right now it just seems to be in the process of kind of growing into a window. It's slowly kind of moving out, shifting, growing, and you can see it's starting to form what look like rectangular sides, like there's like hard lines, as if it's actually shaping into a window. Go ahead and roll sand.
No.
You don't see any signs, by the way, of like a spout, any holes in the wall that this might be pulling out from. It's just pooling here. Go ahead and roll a d4 and take that much amount from the unnatural.
Oh, 4.
Don't forget, you can push this stuff off if you want to burn willpower.
Let me check my contact.
Okay.
Isn't Derek's contact still just the tarantula?
Tarantula and one other. He's got
No,
like
I have a friend. Thank you.
Oh, he's a friend now. I thought he was just like a mentor.
Mentor who
I
turned
love
into
the
a friend.
tarantula until you brought it up last week, and like I can't let it go. It's too good.
He like cuddles up with him in his shirt.
Do you want to push? Do you want to push
I
it
would
onto
like
your bonds?
to
Okay.
push onto my.
All right. So go ahead and I think it's roll a d4.
Oh,
All
classic.
right.
Yeah.
You got to burn 1 willpower. Reduce one of your bonds scored by 1. But even with taking 3 willpower, this is still going to be a acute episode.
Top the one I'm already having.
Yeah, so we can say that your acute episode of the paranoia probably wore off a bit on your drive here through traffic. If you want to just say we continue that, I'm fine with it. But if you think a different one of your disorders might pop up here in a better way, that's fine as well. It's your call. I'll follow your lead on this.
Could say maybe PTSD starts triggering, and maybe the flow of this sort of reminds me of the flow of like Patsu.
Mm-hmm.
It's giving like images of being back.
Okay.
The clown, being chased by the clown.
Okay. And I'll say, I mean, maybe this causes you to like step back a bit and like disturb one of these stacks of boxes, which I think at this point is probably enough to alert Album at the very least, because his alertness is fairly high, that Vessel's doing something over beyond these stacks of boxes, and you can see one of them nearly tips over. Album.
You good, Vessel? What's going on over there? What are you looking at?
I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back.
What are you talking about? Go back where? We're already in the room. We're back.
You just see me like I'm in a state like I'm somewhere else, sort of. Just not in the present.
Album will walk over to Vessel. You said you're remaining like quiet and just like catatonic.
Yeah, it's the effect. It's like I'm not.
Not so much catatonic, because that's its own separate thing, but you're definitely like, just kind of no.
Like
not
1,000
this
yard
again.
stare.
Yeah, kind of.
It dissociated.
Because Album has such amazing charisma and human, he's going to grab Vessel by the shoulders and he's like, "We're already back. Like, get it together, man."
Okay. So if you're trying to kind of snap him out of this, yeah,
Sure.
you can. I think it's like a psychotherapy.
Psychotherapy.
Yeah.
Keep it together,
Ooh.
man.
Psychotherapy. However, I do want to point this out to you. So psychotherapy can diagnose your agent's disorder, and someone else can talk the agent down. If the episode,
But-
however, is related to the unnatural, which this is, the agent doing the talking down will be risking sanity as well. So in the process of doing this, like, you do risk sanity loss. Only because it's from the unnatural.
Interesting. Okay.
Rocking it.
Um,
Yes, Sam.
I was thinking. I mean, I guess knowing that. No, I'll lean into it. I didn't know that. So at first I was going to go with flavor, but yeah, I'll try the psychotherapy roll. I've got a
give
10.
it a roll.
I'll use
Okay.
a re-roll since we've got so
Yeah, we
many.
do.
Yeah, we do have a couple.
I would
of
prefer
rolls.
not a
Yep.
crit fail.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
The regular.
All right. You only take 1 point of sanity loss.
Okay.
But as you're over there, you got your hands on his shoulders. You're like, snap out of this. Snap out of this. What the hell's wrong with you? Come on. And he's like, come on, man. Not you too, because you've got Fawn in the corner. Your head kind of just turns suddenly as you look over at the wall and what he's staring at, and you see there is a quicksilver, silvery mercury like window that is slowly beginning to form on the wall behind the curtain. That was absolutely not there the last time you all looked behind this curtain.
Album will start rummaging through some of the boxes to see if there's like some kind of chemical he can splash, since it looks like, you know, like a mercurial substance. He'll try to find like something to just like
Okay.
cancel it out or like rinse it away. He's like, nope, not fucking dealing with this.
It's pretty big at this point. So like it's literally almost the size of a full, like, we're talking like hotel window, you know what I mean? So it's like it's a fairly
Yeah.
big window.
Yeah, like a 5-foot window.
But you go rummaging through stuff, and at this point, Chelsea, I think you're alerted now too that something's going on. Is like you hear the sounds of boxes opening, getting unstacked, open, getting unstacked. Your album like shifting through them and looking for things, and you peek over, and you also see this window that is forming and almost completely formed. But I do need you to roll a sand test there, Chelsea.
Fair.
Album already got his on the
Failure.
psychotherapy. I'm not gonna have him double dip into it.
D4?
Roll a D4. Yeah, D4 will do. 2's fine. 2 should probably trigger one of your disorders.
My notes.
2+ will do it. While you're looking at that, you guys notice that the quicksilver seems to slowly clear at this point as Album's desperately searching for some kind of substance. And you guys notice how it forms this rectangle, and then the quicksilver starts to clear until what looks like a murky and out of focus hotel room begins to emerge on the other side of the wall. Now, the mirrored room on the other side looks very similar to the one that you're standing in, but appears a little bit older, and it doesn't have all the the boxes and stuff and everything in it. But you can see that it's kind of rippling and wobbling a little bit, as if like you're viewing it from the bottom of a pool looking upward. There are a few things that you make out as you look over there, and all three of you in your various states of disorientation and frustration right now, you're looking over and you see what appears to be a leather suitcase that's flipped open and laying on one of the beds. Looks like there's a telephone, this old, tall, kind of bell-shaped telephone that all of you would actually recognize. It looks a lot like the phone that you saw Bale using when you were in the Dorchester house. You see that there is some kind of security message on the back of the room's door. And there's like a large word at the top, but it's kind of hard to see with the rippling. And you can see that there's also on a desk what looks like some kind of travel typewriter and a stack of papers, like a manuscript has been set up. And all of this is like, again, you're viewing into like pool water. Anybody, what are your search, what kind of searches do you guys have in terms of your...
I have a
your
56.
56? 48?
I have 60.
All three of you, I'm going to say, you notice that a word is very clear. One word, very clear on that message on the back of the room. There's other words, but one of them stands out. Broadle bin.
Does this typewriter look like the one that we liberated from Marbus's house?
No, that wasn't a typewriter. That was some strange device that printed books. This is an actual typewriter. Like, you recognize it. It's clearly a typewriter. It's an old-time typewriter, but it's a typewriter.
Album will kind of look at the other two, and then we all know about that poem that Fawn was handed, right?
Would say so.
So then Album will kind of just like throw out there, like, are we looking into, like, is this how we get into Broadalbin?
That's how we get out of here. Let's put Fawn first.
Find the hotel. Next is the labyrinth.
Great.
Album is gonna say, like, Fawn's in the middle of being asleep, and I don't know if throwing a unconscious person into a window is gonna help. So Album will like reach out to like touch this window and see if like he feels anything besides wall, I guess.
Yeah, your hand dips into it. Like it's clearly liquid. It's cool, but not like cold. It's
Okay.
like water, maybe a little thicker. And your hand dips into it.
So Album will turn and look back, and he'll say to the group, I've never experienced anything like this. Like, I feel like I'm in a pool of water, and like my hand just he with his hand that's not in the window will point, like, my hand just slipped right through. This is bizarre, because he wasn't present when Vessel did this already.
Neither you or Chelsea were.
Nobody was.
Yeah,
Nothing
Fawn
was
doesn't
here.
have a. I don't think Fawn either. Well, no, because you saw
was
him
in
go
the-
in. No, you saw him go in. 'Cause
Yeah,
you-
that's-
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I think maybe you went in and he pulled you out. I can't remember the exact sequence, but no, Fawn's the only one who was aware of this. Now, there's a big difference, obviously, in that Vessel, it was a mirror specifically, and you've had like these moments with mirrors since you got out of the Dorchester where you've seen them rippling, but this is something different. This is like a manifestation of like some kind of quicksilver window that's turned. Whenever you've looked into the mirror, it's always been a reflection. Like, you've always seen reflections. It's just touching it and like drawing the yellow sign has allowed some level of entrance into the mirror. Certainly similar, like the way that Album's describing the liquid. Yeah, it seems very similar. But like the portal itself, the door that's being opened here is a little different than the one that you went through prior.
We came here searching for something. This might be it.
And yeah, Album will look over at Vessel and say, yeah, I mean, so far the only way we've been surviving is just going through. So Album will just continue to like press more of his arm through the window if it'll allow him to.
Yeah, there's no major resistance. Yeah.
He'll just slowly work his way through the window then.
Okay. As you eventually dip into the whole entire room at this point, and it is you're very much now fully inside the window. You feel buoyant, like you're underneath water. You can't breathe. You can kind of move yourself in whatever way you want, but you know that you're going to be like, because you can't breathe, there's a limited amount of time that you have in here. And so, just for mechanical purposes, just so you're all aware, it's based on your Constitution score. So, and you also know that you're basically swimming everywhere. So you have to if you're trying to move and navigate around the room, you would have to roll swim checks. And the amount of swim checks that you can basically roll is relative to your con score. So you're
Okay.
inside. So you're just inside. And again, you've got that you can see there's a suitcase, there's a telephone, there's that security message on the back of the door, there's a travel typewriter, and there's a stack of manuscript papers.
I guess Album would want to swim his way over to the suitcase and try and pull it back through into room 616.
Okay, go ahead and roll a swim test.
That's a fail. 56 over
Okay.
20.
Okay. Sure. So you guys see as he steps inside, he seems to be struggling a little bit. Maybe the viscosity or the sort of the density of the water is not quite the same or the density of the fluid is not quite the same as water. But you see him kind of struggling to find like his movement, and he's slowly trying to work his way over to the bed, but doing so in kind of a clumsy fashion. What are you two doing on the outside? Vessel, Chelsea.
Well, my acute episode that I'm having is anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
So, she's just kind of pacing, I guess, and just ripping through notes.
Can you kick your volume up or move the mic a little bit closer to your mic? You seem a little quiet to me.
Is this any better?
Not really. I mean, I can kind of hear you, but I'm just worried that the music might drown you, like on the.
Okay, I can turn it
That's
up
better.
on my.
There you go. That's
okay,
good.
cool. But yeah, so she's just having an acute anxiety attack. So she's just going through her notes because he just went into this fucking mirror window, and she hasn't heard anything about that before. So it is not cool with Chelsea.
Okay.
And she's, yeah.
So you're just like flipping through your notes, going through whatever you have in your bag that you brought with you.
Yeah.
Vessel, what are you doing?
Can I see him if I look through the window?
You can indeed see him.
I'll just watch to see if he's like starts struggling somehow. If he does, I'll assist.
Okay. All right. You see that he is having difficulty getting his kind of wherewithal about him, or like you can see he's sort of struggling a bit. Maybe he's floating a little bit too much to the ceiling. The buoyancy levels aren't quite right. Go ahead and Alban, roll another swim test. He's okay.
Oh, that's a crit success.
Yay.
Natural 1.
You very easily, like you kind of drift up to the ceiling and just sort of push your feet off the ceiling, and that kind of shoots you down towards the suitcase. And what I'll say is, if you're looking to are you looking to just get that outside? You just kind of to push it to Vessel or something?
Yeah.
And I'll say that with your crit success, it's exactly what you're able to do. You reach down, you grab it. It's opened, so you grab both sides of it, and then you swim to the edge of the plane of the window, and you push it through.
And there's no issue pushing the bag through?
No, and Vessel, if you're ready and receptive, you can grab the suitcase without a problem.
I'll take it.
Okay, yeah, you take it. It's not wet when you take it. It feels fine. Like when you grab it and you take a look at it, and it's definitely an older suitcase. You would it's like banded leather. Definitely looks like an old-fashioned thing that you might see in like a Warner Brothers cartoon, something like that. And it also looks almost like vintage and like sort of like not like perfect condition. But you do notice that there are a few engravings. You notice that there's the initials JCL that's engraved on this lock plate, and you see written on the side of it is the name J. Linz. And when you start flipping through the suitcase itself, there's a bunch of very, very new-looking clothes that you would imagine are probably 1930s, 1920s, 1940s, kind of around there. Just doesn't quite look like anything modern.
We found JC Linz.
Yeah, we are
Sort
looking
of.
for Jay Lynn's. Find JC Lynn's at Hotel Broadalbin. So looks
Didn't
like
say
we
anything about a suitcase though.
You found the suitcase.
no,
There's
but
not
we
a
are
person
looking
in
for
here.
the
You're looking-
author.
I know.
You're going through the suitcase. There's not a person in here.
Yeah.
It's the closest we've gotten.
Okay.
So-
Album, you're still inside. What are you doing?
So if I were to like stick my head out for a moment with that, like, am I holding I'm assuming I need to hold my breath, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
guess I'll stick my head out real quick to just take a gasp of air if it'll let me.
Yeah, no problem. You stick your head out, take a gas of air, and you're good to go.
He'll move his way over after taking a breath to the typewriter. And you said that there are manifestos next to the typewriter, right?
Yeah, there's a typewriter there, and there's a stack of papers, like a big stack of papers. Roll a swim check for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you try.
46 over 20.
Yeah, once again, you turn to go to swim towards it, and as you do, you just kind of like overcorrect a bit, and you kind of swim in the opposite direction. And you can see he's struggling. It doesn't look like Vessel when you're looking inside that this is the easiest. Like he's either he's the worst swimmer you've ever seen, or there's something about the liquid that might be not quite as predictable as like water itself. Do you want to help him, Vessel, or are you staying outside?
No, I prefer to stay outside.
Okay. And Chelsea, you're still rummaging through stuff?
Well, what she's doing now is she's ripping off the sheets off the bed and she's like tying them together and just like shoving them in to the water.
So don't forget that this room is literally stacked to the brim with boxes, except for that one section on the bed.
Oh, with that huge thing that I
with the huge thing. So I would say if you're looking to do what you're doing, like creating like some kind of rope lifeline thing, you can just start knocking stuff off the bed, sure. Like, but that's not like an instantaneous thing. That's
okay, yeah. Then that's what she's gonna start doing.
Okay, sounds good. Album, go ahead and roll another swim test.
49 over 20.
Yeah, Vessel, you start to notice he's struggling a bit now. Like he's like kind of twisting and turning. You can see that his ass goes over his head at one point. He tries to do the whole bounce off the ceiling thing, but he kind of misangles it, and somehow he's over by the beds now, which is the complete opposite wall. He's just really, really struggling.
All right, Chelsea, I'm going in. I'm struggling.
Wait, let me tie this to you first before you go in. What are you doing?
You look over, and she's basically just pushed a couple of the boxes off the bed, and she's holding like a pillowcase in her hand.
Yeah.
So she wants to tie a pillowcase to you.
Yeah. She'll be like, this will help.
This will help. And she puts it over your head and she strangles you to death.
I'm not gonna wait on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You diving?
I'm
okay.
going.
Go ahead and roll a swim test. Are you trying to go to Album, or are you trying to go to the desk?
Yeah, I'm going to help out.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a swim test.
6 A's.
All right. So you move over towards Album. Album, you steady. You're kind of in sort of this free floating, kind of bouncing here and there, getting a little disorienting actually, because you just can't your momentum is being carried in ways that you wouldn't expect in water, but you suddenly feel a hand and a steadying presence, and you look over and there's Vessel. The two of you are underwater. Now you look around the room, and you are inside, and it's whatever this is. It's not water, but you can still see in it. Your eyes don't really burn or anything like that, so it's the equivalent of looking, opening your eyes in a pool or something like that. But you grab this suitcase, but there's the manuscript, there's the typewriter, there's the telephone, and then there's the door and the plaque on the back of the door. That's all you really see that's outside of just generic hotel stuff.
Album, recognizing that that Vessel just kind of dove in and didn't really have any issues getting to him, will motion to Vessel. He's gonna point to the window and then point to himself and be like, I'm out.
Okay.
I'll see if I could pass him one of these before he leaves.
Okay. So judging from just the orientation of the room, you think that the furthest thing to get to is the door. Everything else is kind of the middle of the room, so it probably just takes a quick push and a quick back. But the probably the most dangerous thing to go for is the door, because it's so deep in the room itself.
Try to get
Closer to you you might be able to grab the typewriter or the manuscript stuff if you prefer.
Yeah, I want to grab that for now and pass it over.
Okay. You want to grab the typewriter or you want to grab the manuscript? Because it's a big stack of papers. Okay, so you grab the typewriter, you push it over to Album. Album, go ahead and make a swim test as you try to move your way out of here.
91 over 20.
Yeah, he pushes the typewriter into your hands, and it's far heavier than you were expecting, and you just feel yourself getting pushed further back into the recesses of the room, kind of getting caught up a little bit on the headboard as you feel like your foot gets a little tangled. I am keeping track of your con scores, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know how many I get, right?
It's attached to your con score. Vessel,
Yes.
you see him just sort of as you push the typewriter into his hands, he just floats away and away from the window. Do you go after him to help him? Do you try to do something else? What do you want to do?
I'm gonna try to get these papers first, and I'll help him after.
Okay, you grab the papers. You can make a swim test if you want to like get them out swim back to the surface, to the window's surface, and drop them outside. Yeah.
Crit success.
Okay, you're able to drop the papers out the window, stick your head out really
Chelsea's
quick.
standing there just holding the pillowcase, so she catches them in the pillowcase. I
Yeah,
told
you jump. There you go. Perfect. You dump these stacks. Now, the other thing is interesting, Chelsea, and I'm not sure if you're in the state of mind to notice it, but the papers themselves aren't wet. They're not affected at all by the liquid inside. They're completely dry as they're dropped into the pillowcase. And then Vessel, you dip back in. Album, go ahead and roll a swim test. Album's gonna drown in here.
Oh,
guy's-
no.
Album continues to just.
How many
drift.
rerolls do we have left?
We've got 5 left.
I'll try one more. Oh wait, I already did one though in this.
Oh,
scene,
that's
so I
true.
can't-
You're in the scene. Thank you for being
shit.
honest. Okay, one per scene. Very good. You watch as he drifts even further and further back into the room, like kind of like over by this closeted area, and isn't quite. He doesn't seem to have gotten. He's still carrying the typewriter, and he just seems to. Panic hasn't fully set in, but you can tell that from his motions, Vessel, that his body language is getting a little concerned. What would you like to do, Vessel?
At this point, would he be closer to the door or the window?
So if imagine a square and then imagine like a recessed area where the door is to the hotel room. That's like up here in the upper right. He's drifting all the way into the back, like upper left corner of the hotel. And whereas like the bottom, like if in like our screen thing is sort of where the window is.
All right, I'm gonna swim towards him. He's struggling a bit.
Okay, go ahead and roll a swim test.
Finally. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Success.
Yeah, you get over to him just fine. And I'll tell you what, if you want to roll a swim test for him, you can just kind of line him up and just sort of push him and get the momentum going towards the window.
Fire
So he
the
doesn't
album
have to roll it.
torpedo.
That sounds good.
Okay.
God.
Yeah.
You can reroll though. Right?
Oh, I can reroll for
Yeah,
it.
you can reroll.
All
Yeah.
right, let's do it.
If I get I like
Oh no! Oh
my
no!
God.
I got
no. No, that's the
Album's
way.
gonna die.
That's the way. Oh no!
He's meant to die here.
You try to aim and you just push him, and you see as you do, your hands you slip, and he just starts drifting down, and you can see that he just kind of goes head first down beneath the bed, getting caught underneath the mattress at this point. Chelsea,
Ah, jeez.
No.
you can see all of this happening, just so you know.
yeah. Can I go into the bathroom, into the shower, and rip do they have like one of the shower poles like across and just rip that?
Oh,
from
like
the
that holds
wall?
the shower curtain?
Yeah, the curtain rod, and then just like because she's not making the greatest decisions. She's having an anxiety attack, and she runs to the window and she like shoves that through to like give you guys something to grab onto so she could pull you in if you get close enough.
You run into the bathroom, you reach
Oh,
up to grab the shower rod, and as you do,
I forgot.
in the
see in
side corner
bathrooms.
of your eye, as if congealing out of nowhere, you see a man in a trench coat suddenly manifests, holding a jackknife which he thrusts directly at you.
Oh my gosh!
Okay.
But he misses. What would you like to do? They're in really close, tight quarters in this bathroom. He's between you and the door, basically. As you turn to go grab it, you go to look, and it just manifests. You can't see his face. He's right up on you. Lights are not on inside the bathroom. You just have like the lights coming from the hall outside the bathroom. It's just like this shadowy man in a trench coat with this small jackknife.
I would like to like try and get him caught up in the curtain and then just kind of shove him into the, like, shove past him back out to the room.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a melee combat.
Like unarmed combat?
Well, you're trying
Or
to
I
use
have
the
melee
curtain
weapons.
stuff, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so I think
Yeah.
melee makes more sense if you're trying to specifically use like the curtain to wrap him up in.
Okay, cool. That is
Yeah.
a failure, 93 over 30.
You try to wrap him up, but he just kind of very deftly moves out of the way. He's like right up in your business at this point as this is happening.
Oh God.
Back in the actual hotel, the underwater hotel, Album, you're stuck underneath the bed. Go ahead and roll a swim test.
You got it. That's a fail. 40 over
And
20.
you are like pinned and stuck beneath this heavy typewriter. Your like your arm and shoulder are now kind of like dipped beneath the bed. Vessel, you see him struggling, and panic is seriously starting to set in as he's kind of kicking in such a way.
I'll
What are
swim
you
down
doing,
and
Vessel?
Try and unpin him.
You can try to unpin him. Okay.
Yeah.
Same thing. I'll say you can roll a swim test to try to kind of uncork him here from his tight kind of where he's stuck.
Wow, I got another crit fail.
I think
Oh
this
my
is literally
gosh.
Album's grave. This is insane.
You
This is awful.
you reach down, you try to help him, and you realize in horror that your jacket has gotten caught on the handle of the closet behind you, and you can't reach him. So you go, as now you're stuck behind. Back in the bathroom, this guy lunges for you again, Chelsea. All right. And as he does, he slashes out at you. You can choose if you want.
Right?
You cannot dodge. The
Oh.
room is far too it's far too tight quarters, but you can fight back. Doing if you would like, you could do melee combat or unarmed combat to try to fight back, but that would be your action for this round.
I'll fight back with unarmed.
Okay, go ahead.
Success 31.
Success
over
31.
46.
Yay.
Let me double.
That
It's
might
actually
not be a yay.
It's not good enough because opposed test, if both succeeds, the higher roll wins, and 35 is higher than 31,
Gosh,
unfortunately.
Freaking darn it.
So, so yeah, he slashes out at you, and you're going to take 6 points of damage.
I have 0 HP.
Oh no.
Okay. In the bed or in the bathroom, you hear, you see Vessel. You don't see any of this, by the way, because all of that's happening in the bathroom. Album, go ahead and roll a swim test.
Oh, okay. Fail. 56 over 20.
Continuing
Oh
to
my
get
God.
stuck. You just can't get out of this. This is crazy. Vessel, it's up to you, man. As you guys are just having trouble, struggling to get out. What do you want to do, Vessel?
I'm gonna try to struggle out of this jacket and then help
Okay.
Album if possible.
Okay. Same thing.
Same swimming. Success.
Yay.
And so you specifically want to get out, help Album, right? So you're just like you
Yeah.
unhook yourself, you grab Album, and you just shove him towards the window, and he goes and he starts floating. Whoa. And eventually, Album, after like a couple seconds, you emerge from the pane on the quicksilver pane of the window and drop down onto the ground. You have the typewriter in hand. You gasp for air. You do not see Chelsea.
Album's gonna look for some sort of object to like, in like the same mindset as Chelsea. He's not really concerned about her right now because he doesn't know what's happened. So he's gonna try and find some kind of object to stick through the window in case Album needs like a lead back in or a support.
Okay. I mean, there's curtain rods, so you can snatch the curtain rods down. That's
Yeah,
fine.
I'll do that then.
Okay. So kind of like what Chelsea was doing, except you're going to grab the ones in the hotel room. Vessel, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna swim for the other door.
Okay. Swim test. Okay.
Good success.
You get over to the door, and you notice on the door, it looks to be some kind of security message. However, it has Hotel Baralabin along the top, but you also notice that there is a bunch of tiny writing with no spaces. That looks like kind of fairly complex instructions, but as you get close, you realize that the text begins, along the shore the cloud waves break, the twin suns sink behind the lake, the shadows lengthen in Carcosa, as strange as the night. And as you continue reading, you realize that this is the quick fast read. This looks like literally the text of the King in Yellow.
We haven't seen the same exact message. Or something
You have
similar.
seen that before. You have read that before. You've read the King in Yellow.
Security door, huh? Does it open at all?
What's that?
Does the door open at all?
You reach down and it appears to be locked. Yeah, from the outside.
I'll just take a note of the lock mechanism, if possible.
It's just a locked hotel door, but as you mess with the handle, it doesn't seem to turn in any way, shape, or form. You put as much as you can into your shoulder to try to like burst it open, and it's just not happening.
Okay. Then I'll see if I can just take the phone with me out of here, back to the window.
Okay. Roll a swim test. Okay.
Got this time.
You try to leap towards the phone. You are unable to target yourself appropriately, and you find yourself kind of starting to drift to the ceiling. You see Album suddenly starts reaching what looks like some kind of curtain rod into the water itself. It's getting in a few feet. Might actually help you to actually make it so you only need one swim test to get out as opposed to two. But he's kind of like holding it there, ready to... so go ahead, Vessel.
Give it a go. Success.
All right. You pick up the typewriter, or not the typewriter.
The
Typewriter's
phone.
already been taken.
Yeah.
So what do you? So you're just trying to
I
get
said
out?
the phone.
Oh, the phone. Okay. You grab the phone, and as you start to swim out, you suddenly feel a tug. And you look back, and you see there's a cord attached to it, and it's attached into the wall itself.
Can I just give it a yank?
Yeah. Roll strength test. Straight time surf. Oh yeah, and you see like the panel on the wall where the phone cord comes out just rips free, and you reach forward and you grab the curtain rod. Album, you just start pulling, I'm presuming, and the two of you kind of tumble down into the window, out of the window on the ground in the hotel room.
And then what do you do?
Album's still panting from nearly drowning. Fuck that room. Where's... And so he'll just like look around to see, because of course he's been panting this whole time from nearly drowning. So can he still see Fawn from where he's at?
Not from where he's at, but you get up and you walk a couple feet and you can see she's down on the ground in like the corner by one of the beds. And you see her, she's still there, completely unconscious.
Okay, he'll look around and say, "Where'd Chelsea go?"
They'll say, I gave her those papers. Did she read it?
You see the pillowcase on the ground, papers inside.
Album will start walking around the room looking for her behind boxes and whatnot.
Okay. Eventually, you peek into the bathroom, and you see Chelsea lying on the ground on the tile floor of the bathroom, blood blooming out, and a pool around her. Pale, she's kind of gasping for air and like shaking. She looks very, very bad.
Album's gonna call for Vessel and say, "Get in here now, and we need to bring something for bandages."
I'll grab like a veggie pillowcase. Just rush into the bathroom.
You rush into the bathroom. Album's on the ground. Got like Chelsea's hand in his. You come in. Chelsea, what are your final words here?
She just she's holding her hand and she just says, you have all my books. You stop the king. And she just kind of like gurgles a little bit, and he watches like her one eye just starts to drift shut, and then she stops breathing.
Both of you roll sand.
84.
Failure. Okay. Go ahead and this is going to be helplessness, or both of you adapted to helplessness?
I am.
No, I'm not.
Okay, go ahead and I'll say roll a D4 Vessel and take that amount of sand. Album. I mean, it's sad, but you probably in the back of your mind you're like, we're not making out of this. Not at this point. We're so far in.
It's like another 4.
Okay.
Are we even in this reality? Is what he's thinking.
Can I still push this off?
Yeah.
That's possible?
Yeah. Totally.
I'm gonna try to do here. It's just another D4. I take a 1 this time.
Okay. You push it off onto your bond. You keep it together. You look around and you see no signs of anyone in here. The door to the hotel room is still locked. You see that she had dislodged the curtain in here. The shower curtain is kind of draped on the ground. It's got blood on it. You see no signs of like what happened, but you look and you can see that there's a clear wound kind of cut across what looks like her, like kind of somewhere in her side. Just checking one thing. 1 second. And you see that there's this huge cut kind of like right across her face, and you can see that it kind of goes in incredibly deeply. Like the cheek has been ripped wide open on one side.
There's no one in here. Was it suicide? I'll take a closer look. See.
Album has a forensics of 43. Would he be able to like tell that from a glance?
To tell what? What is it you're looking for?
When Vessel said, "Is this a suicide?" I wasn't sure if that's like a forensics roll of like, yeah, this isn't self-inflicted kind of thing.
No. So she was attacked. You would imagine by someone with a knife or some kind of bladed weapon.
Yeah. So then Album will look at Vessel and be like, "Are you kidding me? Like, no one could do that to themselves. Like your brain's pain receptors would no. This is someone did this to her. There's no one else in here with us."
Just
Only
Fawn.
Fawn was with her, so unless she's faking.
Album's gonna go right over to Fawn and rip the blanket off of her and see if she's holding like a knife or piece of sharp metal or something.
Well, she's not.
I was gonna say, wait a minute.
Well, she may cheat at board games. She did not
She's
kill
not.
Chelsea.
She's not. She's sleeping for the first time in a long time that you probably remember seeing her sleep. She's actually sleeping, and she seems deeply, like kind of in a deep sleep.
Album's gonna, while he's like standing over Fawn, murmur to himself, "Oh, what? Finally getting good night's sleep after killing someone?" And he'll like start like patting her down to see if she's got anything on her.
She doesn't. I mean, like she has whatever you would normally have Fawn. Like she doesn't seem to have anything, which you can tell. And you guys never saw her like get up. It's hard to see. Like there's a lot of like everything was kind of obscured in here. You couldn't really see a whole lot because of all the boxes.
This is insane.
Yeah, so since Album can't find any, like obviously doesn't see any blood on her and can't find any type of thing that would match up to the wounds, He's just gonna like put his hands on his head like this and just start like pacing around the room and just like muttering to himself.
So Vessel, what are you doing? You guys let her sleep, or do you wake her up?
No, we'll leave her be. Just sitting there like defeated, wondering what
Okay.
she's supposed to be doing.
Album, while muttering to himself and pacing around the room, is going to look for like signs of forced entry or like any kind of like marks of foul play.
Yeah, you don't see anything like that. There's only one way in that you can tell. There's not even an air conditioning vent in here. There's no, I mean, there's the window that goes into this hotel room that you just saw. But other than that, like, it's just the door, and the door has been locked from the inside. Has that kind of security chain as well.
Yeah, and there's no, and he's like looking for, he's like inspecting the flooring for like drip blood droplets. See, like if someone carried the weapon with them.
You see a little bit of that, but it doesn't leave the bathroom.
So he'll start searching around the bathroom to see what he can figure out.
Yeah, roll forensics.
Fail, 57 over 43.
You see absolutely no signs of a weapon, other than, you know, a weapon that might have been used for this. You see some, like, you know, you see the blood on the ground, and it's kind of swiped in different directions. A footprint here or there, but it's like, it's hard to tell. It might be hers, it might be someone else's. You look at the bottom of her feet, same, you know, it's there. She didn't say anything and about an attacker, and you don't see any signs of blood on the door frame into the bathroom, onto the carpet itself, or onto the door that comes into the hotel.
Could Album make just like a straight in check to see like, okay, if I could like swim through a window, could I swim through a mirror? Because there's a mirror in this bathroom, right?
You reach over and you touch the mirror, and it is hard. It's a mirror. Like, it doesn't give or anything like that.
And it doesn't like pull open or anything like a medicine cabinet would?
No, it does not.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go back to pacing and muttering like this doesn't make any sense. Like, what happened?
I'd like to take a picture for evidence sake.
Sure. What would you guys like to do now? You've got Chelsea, her body on the bathroom floor. You've got Fawn sleeping. You've got all this evidence from Abigail Wright's apartment. What is it, you guys, the two of you? I mean, the two of you are the ones who are awake right now, so you're running the show. What do you guys do?
Album's gonna start rummaging through Chelsea's belongings because he knows she had that like demon book, and he's gonna be like, maybe we can like I could sell my soul and like we could bring her back, or like that's how that shit works, right? And he'll like start flipping through the hydro mancha or whatever.
Okay. Give me a second. You guys go ahead and vamp for me a little bit, and let me see if one of these things would work. There are a lot of these.
It.
You guys go ahead and talk amongst yourselves, RP a little bit, stuff like that.
How the fuck do I swim back through a window and there's just a corpse here out vessel? It doesn't make any goddamn sense. I'm gasping for air and then she's dead. What did she take did I take her breath and she died? That doesn't make sense because then you wouldn't have cut it. There's no weapon. The mirror is solid. You can't swim through a mirror, but you can swim through a window. How do these things work? I don't. And just furiously flipping through the book.
She was attacked here before.
Before when? She was with us before we went through the window.
When we were alone, she gave me a call one night. She was in a bathroom. I found her half drowned.
How long ago? What, you mean before tonight?
Yeah. It was the
That
night
side.
where the gunshot incidents.
And this is also in a bathroom?
Uh-huh.
Is like is this like a bathroom assailant? Is she not allowed to go into restrooms alone?
I have no idea what it is.
And you never saw anything the first time she was attacked either?
Yeah, I only saw her in the tub.
Well, there's got to be something one of these assholes in this book can do. If they got me out of the stupid television room where I was watching Garfield for 70 years, then there's got to be something.
Admittedly, Jeff does not remember what all 70-something demons do. I'm sorry to
That's
disappoint
okay.
on this. I feel like there might be something in here that can help you, but I don't know off the top of my head, and it might take a while for me to get through this. And also probably would take a while for you to get through this as well.
Sure. Out of character, Melissa, what is your occult score? I don't want
70,
to I don't want it to disrupt your character's sleeping because this is like the one time you get to actually rest. But I'm wondering if Alvin would be like, Chelsea was always looking at this fucking book, but Fawn always seemed to understand. Maybe she knows some more demon magic than I do. Should we wake her? She's conked out. She couldn't have done it. I checked her body. I pat her down. There's no blood on her. There's no weapon. There's no drip marks. Nothing going out of the hotel. Nothing going out of the bathroom. There's nothing in the bathroom, by the way. There's no way in or out. I didn't check the AC vent, and they'll start like rummaging around like the vent in the ceiling to see if there's any blood smears or anything like that.
Side of this might trigger into another episode. We should let her rest while she can.
Well, I'm just gonna keep looking through this book. I lost that satellite phone, didn't I? Or maybe not lost, but like destroyed the second one.
Okay.
I thought you separated
you
them together.
destroyed the first, but I don't know if you guys destroyed the second or not.
We opened it and put it back.
You put it
Yeah,
back
we did
together.
open it, but we put it back together. So Album will like take the satellite phone and be like, maybe the bored asshole on this, and he'll like start dialing whatever number he needs to dial.
What number do you want to dial?
I'm looking through my notes. Oh, 616, of course.
Okay. A couple things are about to happen. I found an answer to your previous question. We'll get to that in a second. But since you're doing this, since you dialed the number, sorry about this. This did not go the way that I thought it was going to, so I'm just adjusting. And I don't want to get this information right because this is like a serious thing, and I don't want to tell you all the wrong way or the wrong thing. You guys are the two of you, Album Vessel, are in this hotel room. You dial star 616 on the satellite phone. And both you, because your alertness is definitely high enough, suddenly see through the window in the wall a tall, thin figure rapidly enter the room, the hotel room that's underwater, basically, on the first ring of the phone that you just dialed. It's wearing a tattered greenish gold robe with a hood. And the shape enters and spins, and it seems to hide its face and then sits down on the bed with its back to the dream window, looks down at where the telephone should be, gets back up, and leaves.
Album's gonna grab the phone that we brought with us and chuck it into the room before it can close the door.
You chuck the telephone into the room? You chuck the telephone into the room. I should say this. This figure is moving without any effect from that water. It's moving like at a normal pace. You chucked a telephone inside. But unfortunately, it just continues to float as the cord was ripped out of the wall and the door closes. And the telephone just floats harmlessly through the water, through the dream window.
Hey, I worked harder for that. Why'd you throw it back in?
Album's gonna like go over to Vessel and like grab him by the throat and try to slam him against the wall. I have a 7 strength, by the way, so I'm pretty sure Vessel would just like laugh at me. But
Crush his
he's
head
gonna,
with my
this is
vocal
what he's
cords.
going to attempt to do. And he's
Okay.
gonna say, you fucking you broke the phone. That whatever that thing was, that could have brought her back.
Sadly, the phone's just floating there, and it's broken. It's disconnected. And you remember, by the way, because you were the one who used the phone before. When you dialed the phone, it was specifically picked up on the second ring, and it looked like they were coming in, but because there's no telephone, they were looking to sort of like they sensed the telephone, but they came in here. There was no telephone to answer.
Just give it another call. See what happens.
Album's gonna like force the phone into Vessel's hand and say dial star 616 or whatever. Yeah, star 616. And then he's gonna go back to like just furiously flipping through the Hydro Manchera.
Okay.
I'll give it back.
So as you're furiously flipping through, you come across a name. You do, in fact, come across the name. And you find the name of this is a demon, and it's Bwer. B-U-E-R. Now, you, unfortunately, actually, I know you would know. I think you would know the preliminary identification. So you would know like this would take some time. So this is something that probably would take an occult roll and some time, but like within not the hydromantia, but the actual the sort of. I think you also you have a couple other copies. One of the other copies that I think Chelsea has is a copy of the of a book that she was actually given in that very bathroom, and nestled within that book. And I'm gonna say this is gonna take hours, as like you and Vessel could be involved in like the research of this. You find over the course of these hours a what appears to be some kind of preliminary invocation to actually summon one of these demons. You as you read through this thing called Bwer, it is a great president. It has legions under their command. It appears it's like it has something to do with the sun, and there's something about healing properties. Like it could literally heal it could heal like almost any injury, regardless of how severe. But it still requires you to actually summon it.
Yeah, Album, being a man of science, would just get started as soon as possible. He'll start tearing open boxes to see what kind of like resources and materials he has. And if Vessel's nearby, he'll start barking commands to be like, I need you to draw this, or, do whatever the ritual says.
At this time, I'm going to say, Fawn, you have you've been dreaming this whole time, and you've been having a very clear, vivid dream of moving throughout these tunnels, looking for something, and eventually stumbling across what looks like this bottle. This is not the first time you've had this dream, but you're going through it and you find this bottle deep within the recesses of some kind of sort of circuitous tunnel cave path. You're not even sure if it's tunnels or if it's rock cave or whatever it might be, but eventually you find it, and as you're kind of looking down to see the name that's engraved on this bottle, you suddenly wake up to the sound of like papers flipping and like boxes getting knocked over, and you see in the room Album and Vessel are like panicked as they're going through boxes, they're reading through these books. You see no signs of Chelsea. Roll a luck test.
Fail 94.
Okay. And you don't remember the name.
Damn it.
But you see them moving about. panicked, and there's no signs of Chelsea. And I'll even say you see blood on their clothes and stuff, probably from when they were like kind of creating and looking at Chelsea.
So she's gonna kind of just stretch for a second and hey, guys, what's going on?
And her some water. Just remain calm, but to tell you how it is, Chelsea has been killed.
What happened?
It's unexplainable.
No, something happened. What happened?
Take a look for yourself, but we didn't see it.
So I'll just get up and just push him out of the way. Where?
It's in the bathroom.
So I'll just go running over to the bathroom. And what? I don't understand. We're in a hotel room. What the hell happened?
Album not even like addressing Fawn's question, will kind of like hold the hydromantia with one hand and like point to some like text and say like, look, you understand this better than I do. And he's talking a mile a minute. He's like, I'm trying to gather these resources, we're trying to gather these things, trying to talk to Bure, I think that's the name of it. Great president. Healing properties can heal any wound. Doesn't matter how severe. We can get his help. I don't care. We can sell our souls, or we can bargain something. We tried to make a phone call through the satellite phone, but then the call was disconnected on the other side. Somebody walked into the room and they were in this like green and gold robe, but they didn't really have anything going on. And yeah.
And so Fawn is just sort of going to tune him out for a second because he's just talking too fast and she just woke up. And she's going to go over and like check pulse and just sort of do the desperate response to seeing
Well, I mean,
Chelsea
at this
lately.
point, she's gone fairly cold. She's not super cold, but she's definitely like you can tell she's gone. You can tell. The blood's not like it's started to congeal. It's been hours and hours. Like it's started to congeal a little bit. It's like thicker and it's beginning to. It's pretty clear that she's been dead for at least 5, 6, 7 hours, something like that.
And Fawn's just gonna go out kind of in the other room and just sort of go over towards the door out of the hotel room and not like leave, but just try to compose herself. Like this is just too much. Like yesterday was a rough day, wasn't feeling well, and she just really needs a minute to just sort of just kind of steel herself, because I feel like she knew that Chelsea had done a lot of reading and knew a bit more kind of about what all of this was, and she's just going to have to kind of think to herself like, oh, I didn't know how we were going to do this with 4 of us. I don't know how we're going to do this with 3 of us. And she's just going to think about like her nieces and just like why she's doing what she's doing. That we're just going to have to like get through this. And so she's just going to kind of close her eyes and just kind of try to think about them for a minute, and then turn around and just be like, and she's going to turn to Album and be like, what the hell were you saying?
And Album, still pretty like rapid, will just say like, I've been reading the stupid fucking book, your demon book, her demon book, I don't care, it's got people in it. This guy, I think I vaguely remember something about this guy can heal any wound, doesn't matter how big. And I've been going through the boxes in this stupid ass room trying to get materials, and we could just resurrect her. It's not a big deal. Death's not permanent, especially with all the shit that we've seen. Like, are you kidding me? We can make anything happen.
And Fawn will just look at Vessel and just, what happened when I was, are you on board with this? Is this a good idea?
An Album, hearing that question, will like snap and say, she's dead. That's what happened. We're drowning in that room. She was dead.
What room are you talking about? What drowning?
And he'll point to the window and it'll be
As
like,
you
"Look
point to
through
the
that
window, there is no window. Vessel,
Vessel,
roll.
is this,
Vessel,
like, what-
roll an alertness test.
Okay.
Yeah, roll an alertness test.
Success.
You're not sure exactly because you guys have been busy. You're focused on kind of going through different things. But Fawn's been awake for a few minutes now, for 20, 30 minutes. And you don't recall actually ever seeing it, the window that is, while she's been awake.
Oh.
Knock her out.
I'm gonna grab something heavy. Start talking.
You hear Chelsea's corpse. Knock her out. She comes in. Zombie Chelsea.
Put a little connection together here. It seems it's only here when Fawn was unconscious.
What do you? Was this like at the San Magina place, like the mirror swimmy thingy?
Very similar. Yes.
And where did it go?
Suddenly vanished when you awoke.
And did she go in there? Is that what happened?
No, she did not. She was in the room the entire time we were.
And so she's just gonna get that little desperation of like, oh, you guys left her alone. Okay.
Oh no, you were with her.
Album is gonna give Fawn he's gonna look up, like he's like flipping through the book, and like his eyes are gonna come from the top. There's like a very haughty look on in his eyes, and he's say, "You left her alone too while you were busy catching up on sleep. We were actually doing things."
Yeah, sure. And she's just kind of just woken up. So Vessel, the thing he's blabbering about, you think this is a good idea?
I mean, we're not supposed to be doing this unnatural things. Sounds crazy, but we're gonna have to put it out anyways. So having demons on our side, maybe it helps.
At this point, it can't fuck us over any more than we've already been screwed over by this whole bullshit yellow sign. And Album's hands are kind of trembling a little bit as he says that.
Okay. So you all will have to decide whether this is something that you would want to do. This is not necessarily something that is in line, as far as you know, with the group's prerogatives, meaning like the group as in Delta Green, the idea of actually tapping into these unnatural powers. That is something that certain people within the group or in various subsections or schisms or fragments of the group, other similar groups of the group might actually use this kind of stuff because hey, it's for the greater good. Some people might take that position on it. Others might be like, no, none of it's good. I mean, that's entirely up for the three of you to decide. I will not influence that whatsoever. But you do have within this one of these books what you think is the ritual. It's going to take some time, hours to study, and you're going to have to decide where you want to conduct it, whether here or somewhere else. But you do, in fact, have something that you think could potentially summon a demon who could potentially heal a grave one. I'm not saying this is not a guarantee. This is not you're just rolling a d20 and see if your resurrection spell went off okay. There could be consequences, that kind of thing. It's up to you. So
out of character, do we know about Chelsea's help that she got from the mustard card lawyer dude?
Ashley, would Chelsea have said anything like that?
Well, because I mentioned my
Shoot.
lawyer, and then they were there when I tried to pull out the card, and it was just the demon seal instead. But that's all you know. You guys don't. I never really told anybody the second time when I called him to come get me out of the hospital.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and I feel like Fawn, like, kind of, she was sort of just thinking about like, okay, what are we here to do? So like, Album, I am as sad as you are at the fact that she's gone, and I still can't believe I just like went unconscious and woke up and she's dead. But aren't we supposed to be protecting everyone from all of these demons? Is it not? I don't think we're supposed to be like rolling out the welcome mat for them.
Oh, come on, Fawn, be realistic. Think about what we've been through over the past 20 years. Has the group done anything good for us? Has the group made our lives any easier? The shit that we've been through just in the Dorchester house, just in the McAllister building, like that alone, we have been ruined. And I'm very suspicious of the fact that ever since we've started this Dorchester investigation, we've gotten actually no legitimate help from the group. I cannot think of the last agent that I talked to. Chelsea was the only person who I think talked to somebody, but even then she was vague about it. The phones, the materials that we were given, the contact that we were given, are you kidding me? None of this stuff lines up. The phone contacts somebody through a window that I just swam through and almost drowned in. And because old Strength McGee over here pulled the cord out of the wall, like... Sorry, I broke my character. Because Strength McGee over here pulled the damn phone out of the wall, we couldn't even use the phone to get her back. I don't even know how it worked. It was filled with dirt and a golden beetle. None of this lines up. If this was actually like I understand that I've got some wild theories out there, but fuck the group. Like, I don't care what it takes. Like, Chelsea was at least doing good and had the right mindset of what to do about this stuff. She was more trained on it than any of us. And so if there's a risk, if it gets us excommunicated from the group, I'd rather take that consequence.
We don't even know that the group is what brought us here. Like, we supposedly have, like, our handler guy is clearly one of the people on the list. So we don't even know that they're the ones that invited us here. So we don't know that anything we're doing right now has anything to do with them other than what we know we did 20 years ago. But they didn't necessarily bring us here.
Yeah, but the fact still remains that our lives have been ruined because of this. And the information that we have, as screwed up as it is and as illogical as it is, and as many things have we seen that we cannot document, like, we still know something that others don't. And we have more value than these regular peasants out there in the world.
But, and again, I'm very sad that Chelsea is dead, but it ruining our 4 lives is better than it ruining everyone's lives, because we give these demons more connection here out in the world, and that's what we're supposed to be keeping the world from. Like, we're just not supposed to help them here. If it ruins our lives, then, well, I mean, we kind of signed up for this, but we're not supposed to just help them do more damage out in the world.
Then if you're not going to help me, get out of the room and I'll do it myself. I don't need you.
Vessel, what do you think?
Album's bringing up a good point here. And Fawn, aren't you chasing a dead niece anyways?
My nieces are fine. It's my sister. I'm trying to keep my nieces alive and protected from all of this shit that's going on.
20 years ago, taking on this job, finding a missing girl, I didn't expect us to be summoning demons here. And now that it's come to this point, I thought we were supposed to be stopping him as well, but it seems like getting him on our side, having him assist us just to get through, is what we're going to have to do.
We don't have to do it. We can continue on our investigation. You guys are doing this because we think that maybe possibly that's going to help us get her back. We don't have to get her back. That's not how life is supposed to go.
How is life supposed to go? The things that we've seen, the things that have happened, What credibility do you have on how life is supposed to go when apparently we're being told that it's all part of a play and that it's all planned out? For all you know, this could be part of the play and we are supposed to bring her back because she's got a greater purpose or a greater role to fulfill. And as somebody who knows probability better than anybody else in this group, the odds of us doing this is better than doing nothing.
We're already in cahoots with demons. I don't see what the difference is going to make.
I was about to say, didn't you guys get me out of some bad bind through the help of some kind of demon? We're already in. What's another deal? 2, 3, 4, it doesn't matter.
I think you guys are crazy. This could be apocalyptic because we're sad because our friend died.
It's beyond that. It's the fact that
I'm not
somebody
sad.
has it's the fact that somebody has inside knowledge. The weaker our group is with the different angles that we've had in the experiences over the past 20 years, the worse whatever is going on with this play or whatever this is. There's 4 of us trying to figure it out. 3 of us, not so good of an odd. And Alvin will just point to the door to the hotel and say, if you don't like it, leave. Vessel and I can take care of it. It sounds like he's with me. Jeff, by the way, please don't, find me and hurt me because I'm yelling at your wife.
What? No, this is great. I love this. Are you kidding? Thank you. This has been awesome. Album, beautiful. This has been great.
The role play.
I know, man.
Fawn is actually... Oh, she really wants to storm out of the room.
Do you?
No, I know better than that.
Okay. All right.
Does
Clear.
Fawn though?
Cool.
Yes, she does, because even
Okay.
earlier, she'll go over by the door, but she's not gonna, she'll find something that she will...
Okay.
Something seemingly insignificant is gonna get ripped up into, a million pieces. But she's realizing that the 2 other people she's with seem to be in agreement that this is what we're doing, and she's not happy about it.
Okay. You would know that this invocation is going to take literally hours. First, it's going to take hours to study. Then it's going to take hours to perform. Now, the question is, you guys have been here in the Boxer Hotel for, I'm going to put it at around 10 hours at this point. And when I say you guys, I mean Vessel and Album. Fawn, you've been here even longer. You were here starting last night. So we're going to say this is nearing the end of, this is nearing nighttime on, I think it's Wednesday. So you guys have been inside here the whole time. I know you had food and stuff that you brought when you first showed up. So I'm not going to nickel and dime you or anything like that. But my question now to you is, what do you guys do? You're here in this room where crazy things have happened. You've seen what looks like another woman possibly died here at some point. Now Chelsea died in the bathroom. You have all these different boxes that come from Abigail Wright's apartment that seem to predate the time, paradoxically, when they were glued and epoxy to the various surfaces within her apartment. What do you guys do? And you know that you are on the news everywhere in Boston. What do the 3 of you do? Because now you have to somehow affect some kind of crazy ritual. It seems desperate and well-intentioned from the heart, questionable from the brain, which is fair. What do you guys do? We'll call it nighttime Wednesday night. I'm presuming you covered Chelsea's body in the bathroom. What do you guys do? This is intense, man. What do you do?
I'm not. I don't know if we should do it here, or if whatever. Thank God Chelsea comes back at all.
Wait, say that again.
If we stay here any longer, if that manifestation or whatever got Chelsea comes back, would we want that to?
If it was something that if she was the only one attacked in the bathroom on 2 different occasions, yeah, I mean it could just be poor location and coincidence, or it could have just been something after her. But either way, there's strength in numbers. There's 3 of us and 1 of it.
Then I'm thinking, if we're doing a ritual, that takes like a pretty big area, right?
It's going to take a decent amount. Yeah, you're going to need some space. There's not a lot of space in here. It's very, very tight in here. Don't forget, there's dozens of boxes.
When we originally came out of the Dorchester house into that empty house, wasn't that like a ritual or demon place?
You did, in fact, see a demon sigil. Someone did. Yes. I don't know if it was. I think identifying it, that roll was failed. But you did identify that there was a demonic sigil that looked familiar.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if we can like somehow renovate or reuse that.
Okay.
Possible.
Okay, but how do you propose we get her body out of here without catching the attention of those 2 goons that we saw in the lobby? Or the cameras, for that matter.
Do we have a big enough box? Or maybe the suitcase?
Oh God.
Like
Jeez.
a big,
Uh,
like rolling suitcase.
Roll a luck test to see if there's a big enough like cardboard moving box that could fit Chelsea. There is absolutely not.
Of course, it's a
no.
critical failure.
Everything is wallet sized.
Everything's wallet-sized.
Is it something that if we packed things up, like, you know, having the boxes like floor to ceiling, would we have a little bit more room? Like if we moved everything around, so instead of it just being mishmash.
Like that's only one of the reasons I'm asking you whether you want to do it here. The other reason being that this place is proven to be spooky and dangerous, and the question is whether do you want to remain here to do that. Everyone's really emotional right now, so I want to make sure I'm not forcing you into anything for expediency. Like,
No,
if
I
you
mean,
guys
I
wanna
feel like
move, we can move.
knowing that we've got people watching the outside, it would be damn near impossible to get her body out of here.
You guys haven't been outside the hotel room since this morning, so you also like literally you haven't even been out in the hallway. So you
So,
don't even know the state of anything. That's something to consider.
Vessel, do you want to take a peek? I have shit for alertness, but do you want to take a peek and see if that car is still out there? I know.
I'm
broke
still waking
little
up.
bit.
I'm really tired, and I just can't really be that alert. There you go.
Yes,
We got that.
I'm not a
spot.
morning person.
Did you roll your d6 for your willpower, by the way? You get some willpower back
Oh.
for the first time.
Oh, I need a
Look,
good roll here. I need a
you
good
know,
roll.
Hey, you've got
We can
rerolls
re-roll.
either way. It's
we
fine.
do have reroll.
Hey,
Five's pretty
5 out
good.
of 6.
I'll
Yeah.
take a
Do you
5.
want to risk it to go for that 6? You want to do that
Nope.
reroll? Play it with okay.
Nope.
Calm down, Vegas.
Okay, so Vessel, do you want to go and
Yeah, I'll
scout?
go for the little like cool down head.
Okay.
See what's happening outside.
So you go outside into the hallway. Universe is in fact there. Hallway is in fact there. You don't see anyone in the hallway. Do you take the elevator or do you take the staircase down?
It's just stairs.
Take the staircase down. Are you being stealthy or are you just being cash?
Oof. Let's stealth it up. Why not?
Okay, roll that stealth for me.
13.
Okay. It is contested. All right. Interesting night. You move
I
your
don't
way.
like that grin, Jeff. I don't like that
You
grin.
move your way down the stairwell. 5th floor, 4th floor. You hear periodic sounds of, people talking. Get down to the lobby floor. You step out. You peek around, and you see that there's probably about 10, 15 people mingling about here and there, combination of workers, people probably waiting for like the rest of their party to come down. Looks like some people are getting ready to go out to dinner. It is around that time. So people that are like maybe visiting Boston and looking to kind of go out in the town. So it's not a completely full lobby. It is Wednesday, middle of the week, but it's also not completely empty. You kind of work your way over towards the front doors, or do you want to go out the side door that you came in with Album?
Let's do the front.
Okay. Roll an alertness test.
Success.
Okay. You get to the front door, you look out, and you do not see the same vehicle that you saw previously, but you do see one that looks very much like it. And it looks like there are two individuals that are sitting in this particular car. And you immediately size them up as these are operatives. Not entirely sure of what agency, but they are most certainly operatives. You can tell by where they've posted up. You can tell by body language. You can tell just by kind of reading them, seeing the sight lines that they've parked their car from. This isn't just your run-of-the-mill, cop surveillance. They haven't spotted you yet, that you can tell. There's no one suddenly getting out of the car, but you're looking around. You can definitely see them. And you should roll a luck test as well, by the way.
Success.
Okay. All right. Would you like
I
to
think I
do?
got enough info. So I'd probably maybe grab something from the kitchen if needed and then head back up.
What do you mean grab something from the kitchen?
Just like some food that's laying around.
You want to sneak into the kitchen and try to grab some food that's laying around?
Or just like ask for some food. I don't necessarily have
Okay.
to sneak.
Okay. You want to
You want
Do
to
you wanna go
interact with a human being?
actually go into the kitchen and ask them for food, or do you want to like place an order?
Get some food, yeah.
Okay. All right. You go into the kitchen, and you can you hear people working about. You hear the sounds of people shouting to one another, and then eventually you see looks like a chef or something walks up to you, or kitchen assistant comes up and sir, can we help you? You're not supposed to be back here.
Can I get some food somewhere?
Yeah. I mean, normally you call room service, sir, to place that order.
Oh, can I just put the delivery here and you bring it up?
Okay. Yeah, it's a little. Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah, 1 second. And like they kind of step away, grab like a pad, something to write. Come over. What room are you?
I'll just do the 614, like the one next to us.
614. Okay. Charge it to the room or?
Yeah, that's
Okay, charge. Okay. Do you need a menu? Do you know what you want?
just give me like whatever is special tonight.
Special tonight. Okay. Sure. Yeah. One special. Yeah. Okay. Salisbury steak, sir.
You just drop it out in the front. That'd be fun.
Okay. So yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what we do. We deliver it and
Alright.
we place it out. Okay. Have you not ordered room service before,
No,
sir?
it's first time here.
Oh,
You can
here.
tell by. me
Well, I
being
meant
here.
like anywhere, because basically the same process almost every. It's fine. It's fine. No. I'm happy to help. Okay. And your name?
Let's go with.
That's always a good thing.
Burns.
Let's go with. Let's go with your actual name, sir.
Burns.
Burns. Okay, Mr. Burns. We will get that up to you as soon as possible.
Hey, I appreciate it. I'm gonna head up.
Okay, so you head up, having ordered a Salisbury steak directly from the kitchen, and assigned payment to room 614. You come back up, you get inside. This is room 616.
Seems fine out there, guys. The operas are still hovering.
So, comes up. Operators are still hovering. It looks like there was a shift change. What do you guys want to do?
So have you decided if we're sticking in here or not?
And Fawn's just gonna turn to Album and just be like, "This is your freaking brilliant idea. So we doing it here?"
And Album, busy like figuring out how to do this ritual, will just say, well, we've made it 20 years dealing with the unnatural, and we haven't had to deal with the law being after us and other folks, so my vote would be to stay here in this room. As somebody who's been hunted for the past 20 years for being a domestic terrorist, it is incredibly difficult to fight even the most incompetent police forces with the most over-budgetary spending processes ever.
Sure, whatever. Yeah, you know it all. And so she's just gonna start like taking boxes and just stacking stuff. And like she'll kind of look at things every now and again, but she's not necessarily doing a thorough search because this is just about like making space somehow in this room. So she'll every once in a while just gonna take a look at something and then go back to stacking boxes.
Okay.
And somehow find an RP way to inform Album that her ritual is 87. So go suck it.
Okay. Do you guys do anything else tonight?
Album.
I mean,
checks
other
his
than just
email to
study
see-
the. I'm assuming you're studying the books, but other than that,
The
Album will
manuscript?
check his email to see if he's been sending more spam. Send this to 20 people, you'll die messages.
it does not appear so. No, does not. No, none of those.
I want to check out the typewriter manuscript we pulled out.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you start digging through the manuscript. Oh, yeah, that's stuff that you guys went in to grab. Okay. A couple things I can give you here. First of all, it's a very old typewriter. You got history or anything like that? Anyone here got history?
80.
Fawn, you would be able to identify this as a 1929 Remington Remedy antique typewriter. It seems brand new and completely unaffected by the water that they claim, you haven't seen this, was in the wall.
Mm-hmm.
It's also fully operational. You notice that the manuscript vessel, as you start reading through it, it is kind of bizarre, but you come across what sounds like the exact same conversation that you heard Album have once when he was talking to someone on the satellite phone, requesting help for Chelsea, word for word. You also notice that it's the play, but it's not just any version of the play. It's a version of the play that looks actually really familiar to you. Because you came across a couple pages of this in 1995 as you guys were going through the McAllister, and you found like these pages of the play, but like interspersed were characters that actually were residents of the building itself. So like you see Thomas Manuel's name in here, you see Louis Post's, you see Michelle Van Fitz, you see Roger Caroon, Abigail Wright. All these names start popping up here and there within the play, The King in Yellow, except they're like functional characters. And this looks, the layout, the type font, all of that is exactly like the pages that you found back in 95. And as always, I now would need you to roll a sand. next is Vessel, I think, right? Yeah, Vessel. Roll
Oh,
Sand.
me? Okay.
Yeah. Well, you're the one who's looking at it, so. Okay.
Oh, that's not good.
Okay. You can take a point of sand. But that's what you find is you're reading through this. Album's in the corner. He's got the Hydromantia to the right of him, this massive old antique tome, and he's got the Ars Goetia next to him, which is in better condition, but looks to be almost like not. It's well used, well worn. But he's kind of going through. But he's reading both, going back and forth, taking notes about this invocation. Vessel, you're flipping through this manuscript. Fawn, what are you doing?
So I had been stacking boxes, kind of looking at things sporadically. If I feel like I've made decent progress with that, I actually want to send a text to my nieces. Oh, chat. Chelsea, what are you doing?
That's such a good. That's great. Chelsea, what are you up to? You're sending a text to your nieces. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chelsea.
Decomposing. Oh my God, that's dark, Ashley.
Um,
Okay.
So yeah,
You're,
so she's gonna kind of send one of those texts, to her nieces. That's sort of that vague, like she's very worried about like the potentially apocalyptic results of this thing that Album wants to do, and Vessel apparently also thinks is a good idea. So she's gonna kind of send one of those, like, I love you, stay out of trouble, vague, sort of out of nowhere text.
Okay.
Oh,
you
the
send
death
this.
flag.
What's that?
The death flag text.
The death flag text. Okay.
Mhm.
Which of the nieces are you sending it to?
I am going to send it to. Hold on one second. I can't find
That's
the
cool.
notes.
It's not a live show. It's fine.
I know.
No,
I have
I'm just kidding.
notes.
You guys
Yeah.
vamp pretty good for me. I had to read like 6 pages because I'm gonna go
Sydney.
through. Yeah, Sydney.
Sydney.
Okay. You send a text to Sydney. Immediately upon sending that text, you get a text back, but not from her. You get a text back from what looks like a contact that you have in your phone. You don't remember putting this contact in. And it says, I'm just going to read it. Number 4 clown, you 616 is the name of the contact that pops up on your phone immediately, like within 2-3 seconds after you sent your text to your niece. And so you get a text
Okay.
from a contact, and you can see that there is a video file, like a link to a video file.
What the hell is this? All right, guys, get over here. I texted my niece and I got this freaking video back. So I'll
Have
just
you-
I'm imagining I'm just sort of setting it on the desk so that we can all sort of
Okay.
stand around it and watch the video together.
Okay. You start watching it. Vessel, Album, you also watching this? Okay.
Yeah.
The video.
Vessel's thinking.
I-
Vessel's thinking.
I'm not gonna watch it. Actually, just tell me about it.
You want to
Coward.
summon a freaking demon here and you don't want to watch
Don't you wanna
a
watch a
video?
video? It's just a funny gift.
Fine, whatever.
Okay, so Fawn, Album, you're sitting there, you're watching this video, and it begins by showing Sydney from what looks like a fairly fisheye angle in her home. Could be is it a dorm? Is it an apartment? She's in college, I think we established.
Yeah.
Was this the University of Maryland one?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, so I think she was like a lacrosse player at University of Maryland, and You see her in, we'll say it's like an athlete dormitory, a dormitory specifically for athletes, and you can see it's like one of those suite styles, and so she probably shares it with a few different people. There's a couple different rooms. It's kind of like a mini apartment. They appear as though they are entirely unaware that they are on camera, and you can see that they're just kind of sitting there at a desk. Sydney seems to have a laptop out. You also have a little bit of sound. Looks like they're just humming to themselves. And then you watch as Sydney gets up. She kind of goes over towards like a counter and at the floor, at the base of the counter, you can see there's a bunch of shoes. And she kind of slips on what looks like, just some sort of flip flops, like kind of Adidas flip flops that a lot of like, the athletic kids kind of wear when they're just relaxing. She gathers her keys and she leaves her apartment. A moment later, you watch as a dozen small, dark figures enter from off camera. None of their faces can be made out, and they rush into the room and they begin moving furniture. Couches, the very chair she was just sitting, her desk. They move items and such as well, moving all of this out of the view of the camera. It's a very long video, a couple minutes long. At the 5-minute 11-second mark, the room is completely empty. There's no furniture that can be seen. There's no tchotchkes or other items that can be seen. And then the lights go out, and you hear a gong sound, followed by a drum beat. At the 8:01 mark, a tall figure, dressed in gold, crosses into the room left to right. You would probably presume that this is the eponymous King in Yellow. You keep watching?
Yes.
Okay. So the king, moving from left to right, suddenly pauses for a moment, ever so slightly in the middle of the room, and turns directly towards the camera as if considering it. And then he continues to move forward, off screen, and vanishes from view. You hear drum beats kind of hit a crescendo, and then a moment later, as you're kind of watching this, several new figures rush into the view from the left. And then the video suddenly stops, showing a momentary brown blur as the feed of the video begins to stutter. Both Album and Fawn roll search tests.
Oh gosh, I'm awful at those. Critical success 1.
I also got a success 40 under 56.
Okay. Both of you would be able to notice that the figures seem to be carrying shotguns and wearing gas masks. And as the video kind of stutters for a moment, it gives out. 8 minutes, 30 seconds long. And I think we're going to go ahead and end on that creepy freaking note.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Because I got to research some stuff. Ashley, I got to make her new character.
Yep.
In case things don't go well with this summoning.
Chelsea.
Sorry, Ashley.
What a seriously unexpected twist.
I dig it.
I didn't think it was going to happen. I had a
Just
complication
the fact it was
brewing.
Exactly 6.
I had a complication brewing, and the complication. This is from last week, and this is. I mean, it's in the book. I mean, I've mentioned this. Like, there's specific encounters. It's just like any like game, and to such a degree, like if you kind of read it, there's encounters and manifestations and stuff that can happen at different points, and it's just like when we got, it was gonna happen at some point, but the kind of the idea with the 616 dropping of the bits is like it's going to happen at a really inopportune moment, and that was a pretty damn inopportune moment.
Yes,
You
it
were
was.
so incredibly close to fighting him off. I felt sad. I felt bad. Like, you rolled a 31. I'm like, that's really good. But then I looked and it's just like, you both succeeded, and the higher number in the contested test wins.
Yeah.
Oh, unlucky.
And the other thing is, again, little peel behind the curtain. The attack normally only does a D4, but it's specifically 2D4. It specifically damages like a crit in that situation,
Yep.
for reasons. So if you're watching this later and you're a Delta Green fan, you're like, trust me, I'm not. It's not just me bullshitting her. It actually is in the book. Okay. Wow. So anyway, let's see. We've got to look into the potentially using a ritual, which, holy shit, that's going to be crazy for Delta Green. Then we got to get a demon out here. Then you got to convince the demon to do a thing, and then like the demon might do a thing, and then maybe Chelsea comes back. Maybe the world ends. Who the hell knows what happens? I'm not really sure yet. I think, Ashley, you and I are going to have a chat about crafting another character to come into this. I have a few ideas that we can use, because it is, I know Captain mentioned it, it's kind of tricky to get it into this campaign, but there are specific ways. If for those of you who might be considering running Impossible Landscapes, there are moments along the way. If you're reading the tome that is Impossible Landscapes, there's some advice here and there on how to bring them in, and also who you could potentially bring in, that kind of stuff. So, so we'll talk about that, and we'll see what happens. Ashley's we're not kicking her off the show.
I'm not voted off the island.
No,
Fawn
she's
is
not
never
been
going to
voted
speak
off
to
the-
Album again, potentially, but Chelsea's welcome back.
What a hell of a conversation that was.
Why do you keep blaming Vessel for this? You're the one who was sleeping through her death, right? Okay. So other things we're doing, come catch me and Melissa tomorrow over on Defenders of Cobalt during the early parts of the day. I think it's like 1 p.m. Central. We're playing Forbidden Lands. Later that afternoon, you can catch everyone here on the screen with the exception of Derek as we play through Blades in the Dark. We hit our 3rd score. This is going to be fun, as they're going to try to go eat the rich. And then on Monday, we're back to Ultraviolet Grasslands on our channel as well. Let's see. Tuesday, Melissa and I will be over on Sirenscape Twitch channel as we are playing through Call of Cthulhu, a original scenario written by a friend of ours, Matt, who often plays on our channel. We often play with him. He's running us through a thing that he wrote based on a original story. And let's see. Wednesday, I'm on DOK, and next Thursday, if you want to watch more Delta Green, come over to Garbly Games on Thursday night, where I am running a different group through Viscid, which is a different Delta Green scenario. And then, obviously, next Friday, we'll be back to see the thrilling conclusion, surprising conclusion, unknown conclusion, because I don't even know what the hell is going to happen about what went down tonight in this crazy session. So thank you to everybody who hung out. Thank you for those of you who threw bits. Thank you for throwing out some ideas here and there, and honestly, players, you guys did awesome tonight. Like, thank you for vamping when I'm like looking up stuff and like just getting into the characters, the arguments between everybody. Like, it was super cool to see that. I really dug especially like the fight, the headbutting between Album and Fawn there towards the end over what to do over Chelsea. That was really good. It was really fun to watch. So we will go ahead and raid somebody right now. I'm gonna throw us on the end screen, and we're gonna see who among our friends might be I don't know, doing some streaming, and we'll find somebody to raid for you, and so you can keep watching some stuff.
Let me
on
go
this Friday night.
genuinely de-stress, like in real life de-stress.
Okay. Have a good night. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.